Her heart rate is 19 beats per minute. That's impossible.
Fatima is dying. At least that's what the numbers tell us. A blood pressure of 53/33. A heart rate of only 19 beats per minute. In the real world, those numbers don't describe someone who is sick. They describe someone who should already be gone. And yet, Fatima is standing, she's talking, she's thinking, she's walking around like nothing is wrong. So the terrifying question isn't whether Fatima is dying. The terrifying question is, what is keeping her alive? Because episode 8 didn't just give us another piece of body horror, it completely changed everything we thought we knew about the monsters, immortality, and the horrible price of surviving in this town. For seasons, From has been leaving clues about death and rebirth.
I told all of you that there was something inside me.
The monsters cannot truly die.
It's nice to see you again.
Smiley came back after being killed.
I gave birth to one of them.
No, that's not what he's saying.
Fatima's impossible pregnancy has never followed the rules of human biology. She's eaten rotten food, craved blood, murdered Tilly while under a mysterious influence, and now she can actually see through Smiley's eyes and control him while he hunts. That is not a normal connection. That sounds like a transformation. And the most disturbing possibility of all is that Fatima may not be carrying a child anymore. She may be becoming one of them. But there is another terrifying possibility that connects all the way back to her pregnancy, the sacrifice of the children, and the ancient promise of immortality. What if Fatima didn't survive her connection to Smiley? What if she died the moment she gave birth to him? And what we're seeing now is something else wearing Fatima's body. Tonight, we're breaking down every clue hidden throughout the season, connecting the history of the monsters, the mystery of the baby that was never hers.
You're gonna have a baby that you were told you could never have.
And why Fatima's story may be the most tragic transformation the show has ever done. Major spoilers ahead for From Season 4, Episode 8. If you haven't watched the episode yet, this is your chance to turn back.
Kenny, you never go into a hostile space without a secondary exit. Period.
And before we jump into this nightmare, if you enjoy deep theories and breakdowns just like this, hit that subscribe button and help this video beat the algorithm so more From fans can join the conversation.
For what?
For burying people.
The more you like, comment, and share your theories, the more these discussions reach the wider audience.
Yeah, this is nice. I really appreciate you letting me help out.
Now, let's talk about why Fatima may have been living on borrowed time ever since Smiley was born. The biggest clue in episode 8 isn't actually the black veins spreading across Fatima's stomach. It's the fact that Christy cannot explain her. The clinic has always represented the last piece of normal science inside this impossible town. Whenever someone gets injured, Christy tries to understand it using real-world medicine. Sometimes she succeeds, and sometimes the town breaks every rule she knows. But Fatima's condition is different. This is not an injury, it is not an illness. It is a contradiction. A human body with a heart beating only 19 times per minute should not be conscious. A person with blood pressure that low should not be having conversations and making decisions. So if her human body should be dead, then something else must be keeping it running. And From has already introduced us to a power that can make the impossible possible, the monster's immortality. The season 3 finale revealed one of the most important secrets in the entire mythology of the series. The creatures walking around at night were not born as monsters. They were once people who made the ultimate sacrifice, giving up their own children in exchange for eternal life. That revelation changes the way we look at Smiley's resurrection. Smiley was killed, yet he returned through Fatima's horrifying pregnancy. The town didn't simply create a new monster. It restored an old one. And that means Fatima's body became a doorway between humanity and whatever unnatural force grants the creatures their immortality. The question is, when you bring a monster back from death, does some of that immortality stay behind? Episode 8 strongly suggests that it does. Fatima describes something going cold inside her the moment she controlled Smiley.
After I connected with that thing, I don't know how to describe it. I felt something go...
That line is incredibly important because From constantly associates coldness with death, spirits, and the supernatural forces controlling the town. Something inside her changed. Something crossed over, and the black markings on her stomach may not be a disease at all. They may be evidence that her body is undergoing the same transformation that created the creatures centuries ago. The terrifying part about Fatima's transformation is that the show has been quietly preparing us for this moment since the beginning of her pregnancy. Remember how impossible everything about that pregnancy was. At first, Fatima believed she was carrying a miracle. After everything she had been through, the idea of bringing a new life into a place built around death represented hope. It was a light in the darkness, and that is exactly why the town chose her. From has always twisted hope into horror. The people who arrive in this town are constantly offered something they desperately want, only to discover that the gift comes with a terrible price. Boyd believed he had found answers when he encountered Martin, only to become infected with a mysterious force. Sarah believed the voices were guiding her towards saving everyone, but those voices pushed her toward murder. Jade believed his intelligence would allow him to solve the mystery, only to become trapped in increasingly terrifying visions. Fatima's dream was motherhood. The town gave her a pregnancy, but it was never a child. It was a vessel, a cocoon, a way for something ancient to return to the world of the living. That is why Elgin's revelation was one of the most disturbing moments in the entire series. He tells Fatima that the baby is real, but it is not hers. That statement completely changes the meaning behind very strange symptoms she experienced. The cravings for rotten food, the urge to consume blood, her increasing loss of control, the violent murder of Tilly. These were not random moments of madness. They were signs that something inside Fatima was slowly replacing her instincts with something older and far more dangerous. And that brings us to one of the biggest unanswered questions in the show. Was Fatima being controlled by Smiley before he was reborn, or was she being controlled by the same ancient force that created all of the monsters? That distinction is extremely important, because Smiley himself may not actually be the one pulling the strings. Think about the monsters we have seen throughout From. They are cruel, intelligent, and almost theatrical. They smile, they manipulate. They know the names and histories of the people they hunt. They don't behave like mindless creatures. They behave like servants carrying out a purpose. So who gave them that purpose? The Season 3 revelation about the sacrificed children suggests there is something much older behind the monsters. A force that offered immortality in exchange for an unthinkable act. A bargain. A curse. A deal that has lasted for centuries. And if that force could turn ordinary humans into immortal monsters, why couldn't it do the same thing again with Fatima? The black veins spreading across her stomach look frighteningly similar to a transformation in progress. It almost resembles the moment a human body is rejecting its natural state and accepting a supernatural one. But there is an even darker possibility. What if Fatima is not becoming a new monster? What if she has already become one? The clues are all there. After Smiley's birth, Fatima should have been physically destroyed. Her body endured a supernatural pregnancy, gave life to a creature that should have stayed dead, and connected herself to the same power that allows the monsters to survive. Yet instead of collapsing, she remained alive. Not healthy, not normal. Alive. That difference matters. Christie's medical readings suggest Fatima's body is operating outside the rules of human biology. The same way the monsters can survive injuries that would kill a person, Fatima's body may now be functioning under a completely different set of rules, and that creates one horrifying possibility for the final episodes of the season. Ellis may already be losing Fatima, not because she is going to die, but because the woman he loves is slowly disappearing. This is what makes her storyline so tragic. Fatima has always represented warmth inside this nightmare. From the very beginning, she was the person who tried to celebrate life in a place built around death. She threw parties, created moments of happiness, and reminded everyone that they were still human, which makes it almost poetic that the town chose her as the perfect victim. The person who represented humanity may be the first person we watch lose it completely. But there is another detail that makes this theory even more terrifying. Fatima's connection to Smiley. When she sees through his eyes, the show reveals something we have never seen before. A human and a monster sharing the same consciousness. That means Fatima is no longer simply connected to the creatures. She is connected to their perspective. She can experience the hunt. She can feel what they feel. And when she says something inside her went cold, it may have been the exact moment her human soul began to fade and the monster's immortality took its place. If this theory is correct, then the final episodes of season 4 are not about whether Fatima can survive. They are about whether she can be brought back.